Today's main focus will be to review exponential rules, specifically when you're dividing two exponential expressions that have the same base and what to do there. So here's what we do. So when you are dividing two exponential expressions with the same base, you subtract the top exponent from the bottom exponent. So because the denominators are the same, they're both over 4, we could just go ahead and subtract the numerators. So 3 minus 11. 3 minus 11 is negative 8. This is what you should have because it's negative 8 and then all over 4. All right, next what we do, when you have a negative exponent, you want to rewrite it using all positive exponents. See how this right here says all exponents and your answer should be positive. So let's go ahead and rewrite it. So here's how you want to rewrite a fraction with a positive exponent. You're going to go ahead and move this into the denominator position like so. So basically 1 all over b to the positive 8 over 4. And that just comes from exponential rules. All right, so we want to make sure that we fully simplified here because this might mark you wrong if you're not fully simplified. So 8 divided by 4 is going to become 2. So my final answer is 1 over b squared. And that's what I would enter right here. All right, next example. So this is just written differently, but this is the same thing as saying this. V to the 5 over 6 divided by V to the 11 over 6. So again, we're going to be using that subtraction rule. When you're dividing two exponential expressions with the same base, you subtract the top from the bottom. Luckily, our denominators are the same. So 5 minus 11, that's going to give me, let's see, 6, so negative 6. So 5 minus 11 is negative 6, all over 6, which was our common denominator. Great, so usually we could go ahead and move this down. It's going to be 1 all over 6 over 6, or I'm going to go ahead and already simplify this. 6 over 6 is 1, so this is v to the negative first power. Again, we need to make sure that all exponents in my answer are positive. So to rewrite this with all positive exponents, what I'm going to do is I move this down to the denominator position with 1 as the numerator, like this. So it's 1 all over v to the first power. Because v is to the first power, we don't need to write the first power there. This is our last and final answer. It's just 1 over v, and that's what we would enter right here. All right, so this one is much more complex because there are a bunch of negatives, but let's go ahead and tackle this problem together. All right, so let's just first rewrite this using it in the way that we're most comfortable with. So this is b to the negative 7 over 6 divided by b to the negative 1/3. So it's gonna, because these both have the same base, we're gonna take the top fraction, subtract it from the bottom fraction. But be aware, these do not have the same denominator. So we need to review our fraction techniques and review how to add and subtract fractions because these need to have the same denominator. So let's go ahead and rewrite this first. So it looks like this. So what I did is I took my top fraction, my top exponent, and subtracted it by my bottom exponent. See how we get a double negative when we do this? Because it's negative 7 over 6 minus negative 1/3. We're going to get a double negative, and we know that a double negative becomes a positive. All right, so we soon can combine these fractions, except, again, we need to have a common denominator. So what I'm going to do on this side, I notice that I can multiply the top and bottom by 2 because 3 times 2 will give me 6. And that'll be a shorter way for me to get a common denominator. So if I multiply this by 2, I should get 2 all over 6. All right, now negative 7 plus 2 is negative 5. Awesome, so we're almost done. We just got to pay attention that all my exponents in my answer need to be positive. So in order to rewrite this using a positive exponent, I'm going to rewrite this in my denominator position with a 1 as my numerator. And my exponent becomes positive. So this is my finalized answer. My exponent is fully simplified. That's going to go right here. All right, let's take a look at this problem. Ignore this. This will be coming up right now. So this is written in this format, but we know that that means this. w to the 4 over 7 divided by w to the 7 over 4. Again, we're going to go ahead and apply our subtraction rule. So it's going to be w to the 4 over 7 minus 7 over 4. Again, we encounter the issue that the denominators are not the same, therefore we got to multiply to get a common denominator. So for this side of the fraction, I'm going to multiply top and bottom by 4 to get the denominator 28. For this side, I'll multiply top and bottom by 7, and again, I'll be getting 28. Let's go ahead and see what that gives me. All right, we multiplied this by 4, I got 16 over 28. Multiplied this by 7, and I got 49 over 28. Again, usually the technique is when these two cannot be made to look like each other, we multiply by the other fraction's denominator, and that's how I got this. All right, so 16 minus 49 is going to give me negative 33 all over the common denominator of 28. All right, I don't believe 33 and 28 have any common factors that I can cancel out, so that's fully simplified. Now what I got to do is make sure all my exponents are positive. So then I'm going to rewrite this in the denominator position with 1 as the numerator. And that will be my final answer. And that would be inserted right here. So if you are interested in doing the problems that will lead you to a score of 100, and if you want to strive for that extra credit, let's go ahead and talk about how to do a problem like this. Okay, so I'm going to be starting to do the stuff in the parentheses first, because usually according to PEMDAS, we do that first. So let's do this one first. I'm going to rewrite that in this format. Great. I'm going to use my subtraction rule. Awesome. 4 minus 11 is going to be negative 7 all over 7. All right, so this bottom fraction became t to the negative 7 over 7. And then here we still need to take care of that. That's going to go on top. So there's going to be t to the 8 over 7 divided by t to the negative 7 over 7. That's going to be right here. All right, now I could go ahead and finalize my answer. So again, I'm going to apply that subtraction rule again. So that's going to be 8 over 7 minus negative 7 over 7. So when we rewrite this, we notice we have a double negative that's going to become a positive. So then 8 plus 7 over 7. So 8 over 7 plus 7 over 7. That's going to give me t to the 15 over 7. Now, because my exponent is positive, I do not need to rewrite this by shifting it down to the denominator position. I could go ahead and enter this. And that's it. So that is our refresher on how to simplify fractions when you're dividing them and you have exponential expressions with the same base. Make sure that you have detailed notes to help you out in the IXL.